Blog Talk Radio.
ሰለሞን ማለ እርሱ በፊት በእውነትና
These are also the proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out.
Salamta Beteseb. Greetings and welcome, family, to this special episode of Wisdom Wednesday with the Rastamandem here on Discipleship Radio.
And sing the dark sayings of old. Doth not wisdom and knowledge stretch forth her hands unto you, O children, I cry. cry. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah, or man you will surely fail. Oh yeah, na na na, yeah. Oh yeah. In laughter the heart is sorrowful. Your folly is your reward. Better a dinner of herb where love is than feasting where there is wrath. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah. Amen, you will surely fail. Oh yeah, na na. People and live upright, for this is the time that will tell, when the righteous ones shall stand up strong. Oh, why did the heathen rage? All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah. Amen, you will surely fail. Oh yeah, now. And sing the dark sayings of old. Does not wisdom and knowledge stretch forth her hands unto you, O children, I cry. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah. And you will surely fail.
Greetings, family, right here. Those who are listening on the blog talk, we're going to actually go full on the StreamYard. There's some difficulties with blog talk, so I think there's a few callers in on the blog talk. Just know in the next maybe 5 to say next 10 minutes, we're going to go full on the live stream. Those listening to the live stream, you can remain on the Rastafari Israelites and Rastafari Groundation. There's a little technical behind the scenes thing that prevents us from sharing some of the audibles we have for tonight's podcast. So blog talk, we're going to shift up to the live stream. Those on live stream, you can remain there. Just giving ones a FYI right here. So any of the callers in on the blog talk, please check us out on the YouTube live stream because we're going to go more fully there because of the audibles for tonight's podcast. So stay tuned. Here to the theme of Wisdom Wednesday. Here, resuming the Torah reading and feeding. Here we have the 29th, Ahare-mot, after the death of the two sons of Aharon. So stay tuned. Blog talk, we're going to tune out on that for tonight's podcast because of technical difficulties. Let's put it like that right there, and more full on the live stream. Rastafari Israelites, Rastafari Groundation on the YouTube.
and forsake not the law of thy mother, and forsake not the law of thy my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. Of thy father, and for my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy Hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, and forsake not the law of thy mother. And forsake not the law of thy mother, the law of thy mother, the law, and forsake not the law of thy mother, the law of thy mother, the law, and forsake not the law of thy mother, 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 the law of thy mother. The Proverbs, Chapter 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privily for the innocent, without cause, let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit, we shall find all precious substance, we shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path. For their feet run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of every one that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owner thereof. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. The end of the Proverbs.
Yes. Give thanks right there. Proverbs, the Alpha and Omega, first chapter and chapter 31, Virtuous Woman, the last chapter, Alpha, Omega, Proverbs right there. Here for the Wednesday, we have Psalm 94 for the fourth day. Evening Psalm for the fourth day, Psalm 94.
Psalm 94. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chastiseth the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Lord, and teachest him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Unless the Lord had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. When I said, my foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. In the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off.
מזמור צד ד'. אל נקמות אדוני, אל נקמות הופיע, הנשא שופט הארץ, השב גמול על גאים. עד מתי רשעים אדוני, עד מתי רשעים יעלוזו, יביעו ידברו עתק, יתאמרו כל פועלי אבן. עמך אדוני ידכאו, ונחלתך יענו, אלמנה וגר יהרוגו, ויתומים ירצחו. ויאמרו לא יראה ולא יבין אלוהי יעקב. בינו בוערים בעם, וכסילים מתי תשכילו. הנוטע אוזן הלא ישמע, אם יוצר עין הלא יביט. היוסר גויים הלא יוכיח, המלמד אדם דעת. אדוני יודע מחשבות אדם, כי המה הבל. אשרי הגבר אשר תייסרנו יה, ומתורתך תלמדנו. להשקיט לו מימי רע, עד יקרא לרשע שחת. כי לא יתוש אדוני עמו, ונחלתו לא יעזוב. כי עד צדק ישוב משפט, ואחריו כל ישרי לב. מי יקום לי עם מרעים, מי יתייצב לי עם פועלי אבן. לולא אדוני עזרת לי, כמעט שכנה דומה נפשי. אם אמרתי מה תרגלי, חסדך אדוני יסעדני. ברוב שר אפי בקרבי, תנחומך ישעשעו נפשי. היי חברך כיסא אבות, יוצר עמל עלי חוק. יגודו על נפש צדיק, ודם נקי ירשיעו. ויהי אדוני לי למשגב, ואלוהי לצור מחסי. וישב עליהם את אונם, וברעתם יצמיתם. יצמיתם אדוני אלוהינו, 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 אלוהינו.
The Lion of Judah shall break every chain and give I a victory again and again.
Lord, open thou my lips, my lips, my lips, my lips.
Adonai שפתי תפתח, 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 תפתח.
And my mouth shall show forth thy praise, thy praise, thy praise, thy praise, thy praise, thy praise.
ופי יגיד תהילתך, 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 תהילתך.
My Lord, open my lips, and my mouth shall declare your praise. Blessed are you, Lord, our God and God of our fathers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, the great, mighty, and awesome God, exalted God who bestows bountiful kindness, who creates all things, who remembers the piety of the patriarchs, and who in love brings a Redeemer to their children's children for the sake of His name. O King, you are a helper, a Savior, and a shield. Blessed are you, Lord, shield of Abraham. You are mighty forever, my Lord. You resurrected dead, you are powerful to save. You sustain the living with loving kindness, resurrected dead with great mercy, support the falling, heal the sick, release the bound, and fulfill your trust to those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, mighty one, and who can be compared to you, King, who brings death and restores life and causes deliverance to spring forth. You are trustworthy to revive the dead. Blessed are you, Lord, who revives the dead. We will hallow and adore you as the sweet word of the assembly of the holy seraphim, who twice repeat, Holy unto you, as it is written by your prophet. And they call one to another and say, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of the hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from its place. And in your holy scriptures it is written thus, the Lord shall reign forever, your God, O Zion, throughout all generations. Praise the Lord. You are holy, and your name is holy, and holy beings praise you daily for all eternity. Blessed are you, Lord, the holy God. You graciously bestow knowledge upon man, and teach mortals understanding. Graciously bestow upon us from you wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Blessed are you, Lord, who graciously bestows knowledge. Cause us to return, our Father, to your Torah. Draw us near, our King, to your service, and bring us back to you in wholehearted repentance. Blessed are you, Lord, who desires repentance. Pardon us, our Father, for we have sinned. Forgive us, our King, for we have transgressed. For you are a good and forgiving God. Blessed are you, Lord, gracious one who pardons abundantly. O behold our affliction and wage our battle. Redeem us speedily for the sake of your name. For you, God, are the mighty Redeemer. Blessed are you, Lord, Redeemer of Israel. Heal us, O Lord, and we will be healed. Help us, and we will be saved. For you are our praise. Grant complete cure and healing to all our wounds. For you, Almighty King, are a faithful and merciful healer. Blessed are you, Lord, who heals the sick of His people, Israel. Bless for us, Lord, our God, this year, and all the varieties of His produce for good, and bestow blessing upon the face of the earth. Satisfy us from your bounty, and bless our year like other good years, for blessing. For you are a generous God, who bestows goodness and blesses the years. Blessed are you, Lord, who blesses the years. Sound the great shofar for our freedom. Raise a banner to gather our exiles, and bring us together from the four corners of the earth into our land. Blessed are you, Lord, who gathers the dispersed of His people, Israel. Restore our judges as in former times, and our counselors as of yore. Remove from us sorrow and sighing, and reign over us. You alone, O Lord, with kindness and compassion, with righteousness and justice. Blessed are you, Lord, King, who loves righteousness and justice. Let there be no hope for reformers, and may all the heretics and all the wicked instantly perish. May all the enemies of your people be speedily extirpated, and may you swiftly uproot, break, crush, and subdue the reign of wickedness speedily in our days. Blessed are you, Lord, who crushes enemies and subdues the wicked. May your mercies be aroused, Lord our God, upon the righteous, upon the pious, upon the elders of your people, the house of Israel, upon the remnant of their sages, upon the righteous proselytes, and upon us. Grant ample reward to all who truly trust in your name and place our lot among them. May we never be disgraced, for we have put our trust in you. Blessed are you, Lord, the support and security of the righteous. Return in mercy to Jerusalem, your city, and dwell therein as you have promised. Speedily establish therein the throne of David, your servant, and rebuild it soon in our days as an everlasting edifice. Blessed are you, Lord, who rebuilds Jerusalem. Speedily cause the sign of David, your servant, to flourish and increase his power by your salvation, for we hope for your salvation all days. Blessed are you, Lord, who causes the power of salvation to flourish. Hear our voice, Lord, our God, merciful Father. Have compassion upon us and accept our prayers in mercy and favor. For you are God who hears prayers and supplications. Do not turn us away empty-handed from you, our King, for you hear the prayer of everyone. Blessed are you, Lord, who hears prayer. Look with favor, Lord our God, on your people Israel, and pay heed to their prayer. Restore the service to your sanctuary, and accept with love and favor Israel's fire offering and prayer. And may the service of your people Israel always find favor. May our eyes behold your return to Zion in mercy. Blessed are you, Lord, who restores his divine presence to Zion. We thankfully acknowledge that you are the Lord, our God, and God of our fathers forever. You are the strength of our life, the shield of our salvation in every generation. We will give thanks to you and recount your praise evening, morning, and noon. For our lives which are committed into your hands, for our souls which are entrusted to you, for your miracles which are with us daily, and for your continual wonders and beneficences. You are the beneficent one, for your mercies never cease, the merciful one, for your kindness never ends, for we always place our hope in you. And for all these, may your name, our King, be continually blessed, exalted and extolled forever and all time. And all living things shall forever thank you and praise your great name eternally. For you are good. God, you are everlasting salvation and help, all benevolent. God, blessed are you, Lord, beneficent is your name, and to you it is fitting to offer thanks. Bestow peace, goodness, and blessing, life, graciousness, kindness, and mercy upon us and upon all your people Israel. Bless us, our Father, and all of us as one, with the light of your countenance. For by the light of your countenance you gave us, Lord our God, the Torah of light and loving kindness, righteousness, blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May it be favorable in your eyes to bless your people Israel at all times and at every moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Lord, who blesses his people Israel with peace. May the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. My God, guard my tongue from evil and my lips from speaking deceitfully. Let my soul be silent to those who curse me. Let my soul be as dust to all. Open my heart to your Torah and let my soul eagerly pursue your commandments. As for all those who plot evil against me, hasten to annul their counsel and frustrate their design. Let them be as chaff before the wind. Let the angel of the Lord thrust them away, that your beloved ones may be delivered. Help with your right hand and answer me. Do it for the sake of your name. Do it for the sake of your right hand. Do it for the sake of your Torah. Do it for the sake of your holiness. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. He who makes peace in this heaven, may he make peace for us and for all Israel, and say amen. May it be your will, Lord our God and God of our fathers, that the Beth Hamkedash be speedily rebuilt in our days, and grant us portion in your Torah. In your Torah. In your Torah. In your Torah. In your Torah.
Hear, O Israel, 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 Israel.
Shema Yisrael, 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 Yisrael.
The Lord our God, 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 God.
Adonai Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu.
Is one Lord, 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 Lord.
Adonai Echad, 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 Adonai Echad.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house, and on thy gates, 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 thy gates. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart, sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth, 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 upon the earth. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a riband of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God, O 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 God.
Yes, yes, yes. So here. Here. Season, reason for the season. Axariimot. We have Axariimot after the death of the two sons, 29th sabbatical study. Here for this Shabbat Strong. And here we're in the season of Passover, fulfilling that according to lunar solar count right there. Looking forward to the May 5th. For the Oriental Church, the true church, and the professing church, the church of he who had the key of great King David, that first day, the Tensaye, on the morrow after the Shabbat. So looking forward, May 5th here in this season. But here for the Torah reading and feeding, we're at Acharei Mot. Acharei after Mot, after the death. So what do we have right here?
Sinai Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong.
Yes. Okay. So here. Let's touch on this Axariimot just briefly right here. Touch on a couple of the first words right here for this 29th sabbatical study for the Shabbat Strong, Axariimot, after the death.
Shalom, Chavarim, Shalom. So here, picking up after the high holiday, Fasika, Pesach, first fruits, Habikorim, the resurrection, he is risen, the Barhanet Tinsayo. Here, picking up with this Shabua, this weekly Torah portion reading and feeding in that annual cycle of Rastafari, the sabbatical studies. Here at this Shabbat Strong, we have the 29th weekly Torah portion reading and feeding. So here after the high holidays, about roughly 2 or so Shavuos, 2 Subayis, 2 sevens, about 2 weeks long, the Fasika, the Pesach, the resurrection, and here picking up in the continuity, the itinuity of the Torah portion reading and feedings, we have Acharei Axaremot. What is Axaremot? Axaremot is after the death. After the death. After the death of who? After the death of Aharon, Aaron's two sons. Now, I find this to be really interesting because remember there was the two thieves, Ha-Moshiach, which in the Brit Chadash, the renewed covenant, is I high priest, right, the Kohen Gadol, after the death of Aaron's two sons. Now, the book of Hebrews, the epistle to the Hebrews, very, very interesting, this connection right here. But just to note that here for the record as we pick up with Torah portion reading and feedings right here. Hope all is well for you all. Hope that the light, the illumination, Burhane Tinsayu, of his resurrection, get up, stand up, that rising in grace, right, and glory. So make I and I grow in grace and that knowledge of the King of Kings Christ. So here for the Hebrew first words, as we have the 29th, we have the 8th Zain chapter, picking up with the third book of Moses, the Hebrew book that is known as Leviticus, the Sefer Wayikra. Here the 8th Zain would be the 16th chapter, Leviticus chapter 16. For this Kaf Tate, the Kaf Tate, the 29th Kaf, the Hebrew letter for 20 and 8 for 9. So the 29th Torah portion here. Achare, after mot. Kamotu bechwala. Bamarinya, the Metzaf Kedus of Negus Neges. But first here at the groundation, the Hebrew is achare, mot. So here the Hebrew first words. Waidaber Yahweh el Moshe. Achare mot. Shnei b'nei Aharon. Batam lifnei Yahweh wayamutu, and the Yahweh spoke to Moses, Waidaberi Yahweh el Moshe, after the death of the two sons. Acharei mot shnei b'nei, the two sons of Aaron, shnei b'nei Aharon, when they drew near, Bikarabatam lifnei Yahweh, when they drew near, when they Karbatam, in their drawing near, lifnei, before the face, before the presence, the perception of Yod Hey Weh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hashem, before He who be who He be, Wayamutu, and died. So here's the occasion after the death of the two sons of Aaron, and just the correspondence with HaMoshiach, the Messiah, crucified between the two thieves. Is there a connection here? Hebrew first words here for this 29th. Acharei Mot, Shabbat, Acharei, Mot.
We can rely on the conquering lion, most lighter, the only one we can rely on. We can rely on the conquering lion, most lighter, the only one we can rely on. The conquering lion, most lighter, the only one we can rely on.
So here we're at Raymond. Okay, so here at Acharemot, this is the usual Torah reading and feeding that we pick up on after Pesach, right around these Torah reading and feedings, the 27th, 28th, Ki Tazria, Mitzorah, she conceived seed, as we mentioned, was she conceived seed. We get to the gospel according to Luke. We have Maryam, the mother of Yeshua, bringing forward that offering that the key Tazariah mentions for a woman if she conceives seed, and also the connection of the first prophecy within the scripture in Bereshith to that seed, the woman's seed, that particular man child will crush the head of the Nahash, the serpent, as well. Then we have Mitzorah. Usually they're doubled up in non-leap years, and here in a leap year they're separated. So we read Ki Tazria separately from Mitzorah, but that gave us an opportunity to focus on the shadow in the Old Covenant, or in the Brit Hayashana, the Old Testament, and the substance that we have in the Brit Chadasha. So we have the Ki Tazria, if she conceives seed, this Maryam conceiving that seed of Yeshua, presenting the offering, and then also Yeshua and the lepers and the healing of the leper, right? Which is a peculiar aspect of the ministry of Robenu Yeshua HaMoshiach. Then Pesach, Passover, comes through, right? And then we pause on the weekly Torah reading and feedings, and then we pick up right here with Ahare-mot. Now, this was the pattern even in that first century time of Moshe Yeshua. And just to kind of show and prove that right here, when we turn to the scriptures, and let's turn to the scripture where we have this right here. All right, just to show and prove this right here, right? So we have the Ahare-mot, right, after the death of the two sons. Now, what's interesting about after the death of the two sons, Yeshua crucified between, the two thieves. We have him crucified between the two thieves. So what's so interesting is that when we see Yeshua in the synagogue of Nazareth, let's go to that part right here, the synagogue of Nazareth. So here we go to Luke chapter, that's right here. Luke chapter 4. In Luke chapter 4, we're at verse 16. Verse 16. Luke chapter 4, verse 16. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. Speaking of Yeshua, Hanotzri, Jesus of Nazareth. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. Verse 17 says, and there was delivered to him the book of the prophet Isaiah, speaking about Isaiah, Yeshaya. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written. So here we have Yeshua in the synagogue of Nazareth performing the Torah reading, as well as the Haftarah reading, right? So just to put that into context, so that means that in that time, in that season, we can tell based on what he read, at what particular season in the Torah reading and feeding that was, right? So that means that in that first century time, the disciples and the followers of the Moshiach becoming more knowledgeable about the scripture. We have this in the scripture where afterward they understood what Yeshua meant by this, what he said by that. And so they began to also understand how Yeshua was fulfilling these signs, such as even with Passover, where Passover occurs, with the key Tisa, if she conceives seed, the prophecy of the seed of the woman crushing the head of the serpent, then Mitzorah, the leper, Yeshua cleansing the lepers, peculiar aspect of his ministry. And then after Pesach, we have Ahare-mot, the death of the two sons of Aharon, and Aaron becomes that type, that shadow of which Yeshua HaNotri, Jesus of Nazareth, Yeshua HaMoshiach, is the substance of it. How do we know this? In the Epistle to the Hebrews, where it likens Yeshua to being our Kohen Gadol of the Brit Chadasha, of the New Covenant. And the followers of Yeshua, the disciples and the followers, they are now this priesthood. So we see this likeness right there as well. So this now becomes clear to us when we start to see, well, what the pattern was. When Moshe was commanded in building the tabernacle, there's a key word: see that you do all things according to the pattern. So there's a particular pattern recognition from the Old Testament scriptures to the Brit Chadasha, that as it's seen, Chabarim, we can see what they saw, right? And we can tell that, yea and amen, he is the true and the faithful witness. So here with the Acharemot, after the death, Acharemot, we pick up with Leviticus chapter 16, focus verses 1 to Leviticus chapter 18, verse 30. Haftarah, the prophet's reading, is Ezekiel, Yechezkel. Ezekiel chapter 22, focus verses verse 1 to verse 19. And the Brit Chadasha, New Covenant reading, we have the Epistle to the Hebrews, chapter 9, 11, chapter 9, verse 11 to verse 28. Some of the themes here, Chabarim, fellow disciples, Talmudim, Acharemot, the summary. We'll go through a summary or overview right here. Also, the study on this Acharemot, this 29th sabbatical study, this weekly Torah portion reading and feeding, which is also about Yom HaKippurim, the Day of the Atonements. We emphasize the Torah-based name, Yom HaKippurim. In popular Judaism, often it's abbreviated, we think somewhat woefully, to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur means a day of a covering. But the Torah says Yom HaKippurim, the day of the coverings, almost like an insurance policy. You know, when they say, well, something happens, are you covered? Yom HaKippurim was that covering for the Bnei Yisrael, according to the law of Moses and according to the Brit HaYashana. Yom HaKippurim, the Day of the Atonements, and the Gospel, the Besorah. What about the Day of the Atonements and the Gospels? They're in connection between the Day of the Atonements and the Gospels. Also remembering, in popular Judaism today, they have a remembering of HaShoah. And usually they limit that to the European Jewish, Holocaust. But when we put it into context with the once lost, now found Black and brown people of the Beit Yisrael, we can see it's a hell of a cost that the once lost, now found people might have had to pay. So we're going to touch on the remembering of HaShoah, which often is the remembering of the Holocaust, but in the full scripture prophecy, of the once lost, now found, Beta Israel. Also, in this Torah reading and feeding is a theme of holiness, Kedusha, and Ahava. Kedusha, holiness or set apartness, Kedusha, and Ahava. Ahava, some will say Ahava. Ahava is love. Kedusha and Ahava. In this Torah reading and feeding for Acharemot, the 29th weekly Torah portion reading and feeding, the sabbatical study, Shabbat Strong, we have the mystery, the mistatir, that which is secreted or hidden. What is the hidden element or the mystery? The mistatir of the scapegoat. The scapegoat. It's interesting because they say La Azazel. Azazel. Who is Azazel? So usually in the Hebrews, Azazel. Now we're going to touch on, well, what is this Azazel? In translation, it's often referred to as the scapegoat. The scapegoat. What's interesting about this La Azazel, it says this goat that will be La Azazel will be for Azazel. In modern Hebrew and in outside the scripture Hebrew, usually if somebody said Lazazel, like if I say to somebody Lek Lazazel, I'm saying to them, go to hell, basically Lazazel. But literally, it's go to the scapegoat. So what's this mystery of Azazel or of the scapegoat? Also, we have love and reproof. love and reproof, love and correction, right? Or even rebuke, love and reproof. Another theme here, Chabarim. Behold the goat of God. Mm. Now, people say the lamb, isn't the lamb, the lamb, the lamb? But what about the goat of Elohim? Behold the goat of Elohim. In fact, in the Torah for Pesach, if one's paid attention to that, when it says that one would take a lamb from their flock out of the sheep or from the goats. Do you remember that part right there? The sheep from the goats. Now, often we'll think, well, when we talk about lamb, we're always talking about, a sheep, right? But yet in the Passover, right, in the Passover instruction direction, it actually says for the families to choose a lamb, right, from the sheep or from the goats. Let's prove that right here. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12, verse 5. It says, your lamb, not just a lamb or even the lamb, but taking it personally, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Y'all shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. So when we say a lamb, what do we mean by a lamb? So that means that there can be a lamb of the sheep and there can be a lamb of the goat. But now here in this Torah reading and feeding for Achariimot, we're speaking about these two goats. There is Lazazel, right, for the scapegoat for Azazel, and then there is that's the one that lives and is sent away into a land where there's no inhabitant, Lazazel, for the scapegoat, right? That's the scapegoat there. Then we have the other goat that's for Yahweh, that's for Jehovah. Behold the goat of God. So I like to reason on that as well. Beholding the goat of God, and also to point to Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, where the instruction is that your lamb shall be without blemish. Your lamb shall be without blemish. Let's get the Hebrew right here. Give me one moment, brothers and sisters. Just want to bring up the Hebrew and see how it sounds in the Hebrew right here. Your lamb, right? Your lamb shall be from, you shall take it out from the sheep or from the goat. Let's bring this up here in the Hebrew. One more moment, brothers and sisters. Sheep and goat, right? See, the lamb is like the young, the very young, like lamb chops. It's like almost like the babe, so to speak, right? But here in this instruction that we're given in Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, in one moment, here's the Hebrew of it. It says, Se tamim, se, the lamb tamim. What's tamim? The lamb shall be without blemish, tamim. Tamim means to be complete, to be whole, to be entire, to be sound. The idea is to be healthy, right? Tamim, right? To be wholesome, to be unimpaired, right? Contextually, to have integrity. What is complete and entirely in accord with truth and fact. So when an animal had to be tamim, without blemish, this meant that if an animal, okay, we know that a cow, right? It has a head, it has its four legs, a tail, it has certain things. If it's missing any of that, it's not entire. It's not tamim. If it has extra, it's not tamim, entire. This word also is often brought out in translation as being perfect. I want ones to take note of that, perfect. So in the Hebrew sense of perfect, it's like if a person has a head, arm, leg, you know what I mean? Everything in proportion, and then has an extra head, right? Or is missing a head, or is missing an arm, that's the context of the offerings being perfect. In other words, as Yahweh Eloheinu, Aina Elohim created it, that is what is to be offered. So here in Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, it says, Se tamim, zakar. Zakar is male. Zakar also as a noun means male. Zakar as a verb means to remember and to make mention. So Set Tamim Zakar ben Shana. Ben, son of Shana, son of 1 year, son of a year. So when it says in the KJV, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, the Hebrew literally is Ben Shana, son of year, son of a year. Yehiyah, Yehiyah, to be, Yehiyah, to be, Lakem, for you all, mean from Ha Kabasim, mean from the Kabasim, mean Ha Kabasim, from the sheep, right? From the sheep. Now here's the plural, from the sheep, from the Kabes, Kabasim, from the sheep, right? From the sheep, that means a lamb, that from the sheep, like a young ram. So it's a young ram in that sense. Or, right, it says, or from the goats, right? Ooh, literally, ooh is and. So literally it says from the sheep, the kabasim, and min ha izim, min ha izim, min ha izim, and from the ez, the goats, ezim, goats, tikahu, y'all are to take, y'all are to take. So we just want to point that out right there, that a lamb could be of the sheep, or a lamb could be of the goats, even and especially in the instruction given in Shemot in Exodus chapter 12, verse 5. Just a curiosity point, because I think often we think, when we think of like the lamb, right, we always think of from the sheep, like a ram. But according to what is written in Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, your lamb being without blemish, being perfect, entire, a male of the first year, or a zakar ben shana, the male of a year, y'all shall take it out from the sheep and from the goats. So in the English, where it says or, the or is not there in the Hebrew. It's actually umin, and from. Just a note right there, so we can understand it more right and accurately. But that point being that point, behold, the goat of God, waking up to Kedusha, waking up to set apartness, waking, being woke, being woken, being awake to set apartness, Kedusha, often referred to as holiness, or in a more operative sense, set apartness. What about blood atonement? You hear some folks talk about blood sacrifices and blood this and blood that. We don't say blood sacrifices like that. There's the blood of the sacrifice. But what about blood atonement? What is this all about? Blood atonement based on HaTorah. And then also the countdown or the count up to Shabuot. So we have the countdown, some would say, to harvest. So here in this season, the count has already begun. The count begins to the time of harvest. From the morrow after, as it says, from the morrow after the Shabbat, right, shall we count 7 Shabuot weeks complete. And that brings us to the morrow after the 7th Sabbath, 7 times 7, 49, to the 50th day. That's the countdown or the count up to Shabuot, the count up to weeks. 7 times 7 to 7th clashing on the morrow after is Pentecost or harvest, the harvest. So the theme of the harvest, this is harvest season, right? This is the beginning of the harvest season, right? Going forward for the next 7 months till we come to the 7th month and to the 7th feast, Sukkot, right? Sukkot or tabernacles, which is called that harvest at the end of the year, right? So what kind of year we in? We're in the holy year, right? Where the appointments, feasts, and festivals beginning from this time, the March, April, Abib, and going forward for 7 months. and covering 7 feasts and 7 festivals in 3 seasons. First season already covered, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits. Then we count 7 Shabbats complete to the morrow after the 7th Shabbat, 50 days, Shabuot. And then we continue till we get to the end of the year, to the 7th month, with Yom Teruah, with the Day of Trumpets that is called Rosh Hashanah, or the beginning, some say, of the civil year, because the holy ecclesiastical, the churchical year for the Hebrews is ending in that 7th month. As it says in the Torah, it says at your harvest at the end of the year, right? Then we have Yom Teruah, aka the Day of Trumpets, also called Rosh Hashanah, the civil new year. Some Yehudi refer to it. Then we have the days after that, the 10 days of Or, right? That brings us to the Yom HaKippurim, right? The Day of Atonement. Then 5 days after that, we have a Shabua long feast and festival of Tabernacles, or Chag HaSukkot, at the end of the year. So we are in season now. When it says in season and out of season, the in season is a time of the year where the appointed feasts, the Moedim, are on schedule. And out of season is after we finish in the 7th month, the 7th moon, the 7th of the feasts and appointments, Sukkot, and then we have 4 to 5 months where there are no commanded appointments, with the exception of the Shabbat, right, which is that weekly, we could say, holy day. Now, to the theme of the Day of Atonement, just briefly, right here. Let's touch on the theme of the Day of Atonement, and we'd like to touch on the first and the second aliyot right here, right, to catch up right here, go through the aliyot right here. Our Torah reading and feeding, the sabbatical manna, the angel's bread right here. This Torah reading and feeding for this Shabua is called Acharei Mot, after the death. This portion, this reading, this manna right here, it transitions from the preceding readings, and also coming out of the holy season, of the Passover season, readings regarding ritual purity, known in the Hebrew as tahora, to recall the tragic incident of the brothers Nadab and Abihu. These are the 2 sons of Aharon, of Aaron, who were killed when they offered strange fire on the Mizbeach, on the altar of the Ketoret, on the altar, the golden altar of Aishans. They offered strange fire upon the altar of Aishans. During the livication, what's called the dedication, the Hanukkah, actually, of the tabernacle, the Mishkan. You can refer to Leviticus chapter 10, verses 1 to 2 for that point of reference right there. Now, because these Kohanim, these priests, came close, speaking of Nadab and Abihu, they came close to the Kodesh HaKodashim, to the Holy of Holies, the set aparts, and offered incense. They offered Aishans, the Ketoret, in a forbidden and an unauthorized manner. Yahweh commanded Moshe to instruct Aaron, that he should not enter the innermost chamber only in a carefully prescribed, according to that which is prescribed, that which was revealed, that which is written manner, once a year. So because of what happened to his sons, right, Moses is instructed by Yahweh to instruct Aharon that he should only enter the inner chamber, the Holy of Holies, only in a carefully prescribed manner, according to that which he is being instructed, once in a shana, once in a year. When is that once?
on the 10th day, on the 10th day of the 7th month of the 7th moon. During the sacred time, the set apart time, the Moed, right? The feast, the appointment known as Yom HaKippurim, the day of the atonements, the day of the coverings. Incidentally, this is also known as the anniversary of the date when Moses had descended from Har Sinai, from Mount Sinai, with the restored tablets of the Berit, of the covenant, after Israel was forgiven the sin, the chet of the Egel Masekah, of the molten calf, falsely called the golden calf, because nowhere in the scriptures to say the golden calf, not even in the Hebrew. It basically says the molten calf, but that was still an uckery. They had come into the covenant and had so quickly broken it. So it's at this particular time when we start to look at the time in scripture, when we're able to read and see the key clues of time, right? We can see that this aligns with the time, Yom HaKippurim, when Moses had descended from Mount Sinai after the breaking of the covenant with the molten calf, pseudo golden calf incident. And this is when that broken covenant was renewed. So even in the old covenant, right, we have a renewing or a newifying of the covenant. The point that we teach here is that even in the Old Testament, we can see the foreshadowing of the new covenant. And the best incident is what occurred with the Israelites and the molten calf. They had already come into the covenant. Moses went up to ratify it and get the further instructions. And while he was getting these further instructions, the people got bummy, right, to mind them, and they went after like the dog returned to his vomit, so to speak, and they had broke the covenant. Moshe comes down and said, who's on Yahweh's side? And it's only the tribe of Levi that comes to Yahweh's side. And this is also one of the reasons why we get to see the exclusive duty of the priesthood being given to Aharon and his sons, and the duties of the holy place to the others of the tribe of Levi. Remember when he first said he wanted the whole nation to be a nation of a kingdom of the priesthood, and a holy nation, a goy kadosh, right? A set apart nation. So before that, all of the sons of Israel, right, were included. But after the Egel Masekah, the so-called golden calf, it came down to the tribe of Levi, and in particular the priestly duties to the sons of Aaron. All of the priests were Levites, principle. All the priests were Levites, but not all of the Levites were priests, only the sons of Aharon. Now, it was on the same day, right, this solemn day, that Aharon was commanded to immerse himself in a mikveh. Mikveh, some would say mikwe. Mikwe is a pool of fresh water, and to dress in all white linen. It's interesting because Revelation speaks about, that garment of the righteous, that fine linen, fine linen. And linen is a peculiar, especially if it's quality linen. I heard some say that linen, if it's fine linen, it is somehow it's like anti-radioactive on a level. And that brought to mind what must have been that power in the ark as well. But be that as it may, we can pick up on that. But on the most solemn day, speaking about the Yom HaKippurim, Aaron was commanded to immerse himself in a mikveh, right? A pool of fresh water, of living water, running water, and to dress in all white linen. He then was instructed to slaughter a bull as a personal chatat, a personal akri sin forfeiture offering. Aharon then brought some ketoret, some incense, some of the ancients in Hebrew known as the kitoret, from the qatar, like gata, like kata in the Middle Eastern regions. Yeah, that's the same. That was one place that incense from ancient times was found. So the word for incense, general incense, is kitoret, to burn within the Kodesh HaKodashim, in the Holy of Holies, before returning to sprinkle the blood, Hadam, of the Chatat, of the sin offering 7 times before, in the presence, before the face of the Aaron HaBarit. The Aaron HaBarit is the Ark of the Covenant, the Tabot. And the place is the Kaporet. The Kaporet is the mercy seat, which is on top of the Aaron HaBarit. Aaron repeated this procedure using Hadam, the blood of one of the 2 goats. There was 2 goats, right? One of the 2 goats that was selected by Lot to be slaughtered as a chatat, as a sin offering on behalf of the people. So let's check this. First, Aaron, the high priest, to clear himself, had to slaughter a bull as his personal chatat, sin offering, right? And then he repeats the process there, right, with one of the 2 goats that was selected by Lot to be slaughtered as a chatat, a sin offering on behalf of Ha'am, the people, Amo Yisrael, the people of Israel. Now, after this, Aharon took more of the sacrificial dam, the blood, and he purified the Mizbeach Ketoret, the altar of incense, the golden altar of incense. Remember the golden altar, there's 2 altars. There's the copper altar outside of the tent, and then there is the golden altar of incense, right? That originally was placed between right where the veil is going into the Holy of Holies. And it seems like later on, the altar of incense was moved more into where the Holy of Holies was. But purifying the altar of incense and the other furnishings as well of the tabernacle, of the tent. Later, the fat, the chalev, the fat of these sacrifices, after that was done, then the fat, right, of the sacrifices was burnt on the copper altar or the brazen altar that was in the courtyard, outer courtyard, the courtyard outside of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. Though the hide and the flesh were to be entirely burned outside of the camp. So paying attention to the specifics of these instructions and getting a good kind of a visualization, because it's important, because there are these types that have been fulfilled even in the Brit Chadasha. So later, the fat of these sacrifices was burned on the copper altar in the courtyard, although the hide and the flesh were to be entirely burned outside of the camp, taken outside of the camp. After purifying the tabernacle, Aaron went to the gate of the courtyard, and laid both hands upon the head of the other goat. Now, this other goat was designated Lazazel, Lazazel, for Azazel. This is a name for the accusing angel. It is said that Azazel, I think, also can be found as well in Hanok, in Enoch, but this is a name Hebraically for the accusing angel, the accusing messenger, known as Azazel. So this is where we get the scapegoat idea. So it's like this, the idea of scapegoat is not directly what it says, but this is what's implied. But what's directly said in the Hebrew is for Azazel. Like we said in modern Hebrew and outside biblical Hebrew, if somebody says Lazazel, it often has a sense of like hell, like lek, Lazazel, like go to hell in that sense, which is an interesting concept, don't you think? But the other goat, so there's a living goat, right? that was sent to Azazel, and then there's the dead one that is La Yahuwah, that is slaughtered there for the Khatat of the people. So the other goat is Lazazel, name of the accusing angel, while confessing all of the sins and the transgressions of Ha'am, of Amo Yisrael, over the head of that goat. So the priest, basically the one that's going to be sent away, he will place his hands on the head and he will pronounce and confess all of the sins and transgressions of Amo Yisrael on the one Lazazel, the scapegoat, the one to Azazel. Now, this scapegoat was not slaughtered. The one Lazazel was not slaughtered, however, but was driven away into the wilderness, carrying, according to HaTorah, all their iniquities, all their moral perversities to a land not inhabited. Finally, Aaron returned to the Ohel Moed, to the tent of meeting. He washed and he changed his clothes. After washing and changing his clothes, he then offered 2 more olot, burnt offerings, one for himself and one for the people, to complete the purification process. Now, this somewhat elaborate rite and ritual here from HaTorah was ordained to be a statute, a chukat, a chok, a statute, decree for Yisrael. And the day of Yom HaKippurim, the day of the coverings, the atonements, was to be observed every Shana as a time of, quote, affliction and mourning, end quote, for all the people. What's interesting is that of all the holidays and the feasts, the festivals, the appointments, all of them, basically, there's almost a command for joy and to rejoice, with the one exception, and that is the 6th of the 7. And the 6th of the 7 appointed feast is Yom HaKippurim. This was commanded as a time to afflict one's soul, a time of affliction and mourning for this day. Now, the portion here, Achariimot, it ends with further Torot, direction instructions about making sacrifices, including the prohibition against offering sacrifices apart from the rites, the regulations of the Mishkan. So any sacrifice, any worship, right, had to be done at the tabernacle and according to the rites and the rituals prescribed in HaTorah. And the consumption of dam, of blood, is explicitly forbidden, as well as the consumption of the chalev, the fat, since blood was reserved for sacrificial purposes on HaMizbeach, on the altar. So I'd like to touch on a couple more themes: the heart of atonement, picturing this atonement, right? The Yom HaKippurim, and also the fulfillment within the Brit Chadasha. So this Torah reading and feeding, it picks up here after the death, Achariimot. Why Dabir Yahuwah Il Moshe Achariimot Shnei B'nei Aharon. He who be, Yahweh, Jehovah spoke to Moses. And Jehovah spoke to Moses. Why Dabir? Why Yidabir? And he spoke, Yahweh, he who be, El Moshe, to Moses. Acharei, after Mot, the death, Shenei, the two, the dual, the two, B'nai, sons of Aharon. Why Daber Yahweh el Moshe, Acharei Mot, Shenei B'nai Aharon. And he who be, Jehovah spoke to Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aharon, the 2 sons of Aaron. So right here, very, very interesting. The counting of the Omer. Going to touch on that as well. But right here, Chabarim. Let's pick up.
Rastafari.
Shabbat Shalom, Sendet Salam, Shabbat Aharimu.
This Torah reading and feeding.
Shalom. Here for this 29th reading from HaTorah, from the Torah, from God's direction instruction, and the 6th reading here from the 3rd book of Moshe, the Hebrew book called Leviticus. Its name, Aharimu. 2 words, that means after the death. The title comes from the first words of the first verse of the reading, which says, and the Yahweh spake to Moshe after the death, Achariimot, of the 2 sons of Aharon, when they offered before Yahweh, before Jehovah, and died. In Leviticus 16:1. Leviticus 16 describes Mishkan, the tabernacle ceremony for the holy set-apart festival of the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim. Leviticus 17 establishes general rules for sacrifice and the sanctuary. And Leviticus chapter 18, it lays down specific laws about permitted and forbidden sexual relationships. So here we pick up with this Torah portion, Aliyah, reading and feeding, Leviticus chapter 16 to Leviticus chapter 18. Verse 30. B'Shem Ha'av V'Habein V'Ruach HaKadosh Yahuwah Echad. And name the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, He who be, the One. The Day of Atonement, Christ HaMoshiach, as Kohen Gadol, Kohen HaGadol, as High Priest and sacrifice. V'Yadaberi Yahuwah, V'Yadaber Yahweh El Moshe, Acharei Mot, Shnei b'nei Aharon, b'karabatam lifnei Yahweh, vayamutu. And the Yahweh spake to Moshe after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, when they offered before the Yahweh and died. Vayadaberi Yahweh. And spoke he who be El Moshe to Moses. Acharei Mot, after the death of Shnei b'nei, the 2 sons of Aharon, b'karabatam, when they offered Lifnei Yahweh, before he who be Yod-Heh Wah-Heh, Vayamutu, and died. And the Yahweh said to Moshe, speak to Aharon, Achika, thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place, within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon Aaron, the ark, that he die not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Thus, like this, shall Aaron come into the holy, the set-apart place, with a young bullock for a chat'at, a sin offering, and a ram for a olah, burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre, the turban, shall he be attired. These are the holy set-apart garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take of the congregation of the Bnei Yisrael, the children, the sons of Israel, 2 kids of the goats for a chat'at, a sin offering, and 1 ram for a olah, burnt offering. And Aharon and Aaron shall offer his bullock of the chat'at, the sin offering, which is for himself, and make a kaper, atonement, at one moment for himself and for Beito, his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them lifnei Yahweh, before he who be at the patach, the door of the tabernacle of the congregation of the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. And Aharon shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Yahweh, and the other lot for the scapegoat, Le'azazel. And Aharon shall bring the goat upon which the Yahweh's lot fell,
and offer him for a chata'at, a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be Azazel for the scapegoat shall be presented alive lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, to make an kaper, an atonement with him, and to let him go for a Azazel, for a scapegoat into the Midbar, the wilderness. And Aharon shall bring the bullock of the chata'at, the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an kaper, an atonement for himself, and for Beito, his house. And shall kill the bullock of the chata'at, the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar, the mizbeach, lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah, and his hands full of sweet incense, itan, sweet aishins, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense aishins upon the fire, lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, that the cloud of the incense, the aishins, may cover the mercy seat, the kaporet, that is, upon the testimony, that he die not. And he shall take of hadam, of the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of hadam, of the blood, demu, with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the chata'at, the sin offering, that is for ha'am, the people, and bring his blood, damo, within the veil, and do with that dam, that blood, as he did with hadam, the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat, and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an kaper, an atonement for the holy, the set apart place, because of the uncleanness of the Bnei Israel, the children, the sons of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation, the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation, the Ohel Moed, when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy, the set apart place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Yisrael. Third book of Moshe, the Hebrew book called Leviticus chapter 17. Here at verse 18, we have the Sheni, the second Aliyah, for this 29th weekly Torah portion reading and feeding, and I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong, the second Aliyah, the Sheni, here at verse 18. Wayatza il ha mizbeach asher lifnei Yahweh with kipera alayo wa latach midam ha para midam ha sa'ir with Natan ala karonot and he shall go out to the altar, that is lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, and make an atonement, kippah, for it, and shall take of hadam, the blood of hapar, the bullock, and of hadam, the blood of sa'ir, the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle of hadam, of the blood, upon it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it and hallow it, and set it apart from the uncleanness of the Bnei Yisrael, the children, sons of Israel. And when he hath made an end of reconciling the holy, the set-apart place, and the tabernacle of the congregation, the tent of meeting, the Ohel Moed, and Mizbeach, and the altar, he shall bring the live goat, and Aharon shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the Bnei Yisrael, the children, the sons of Israel, all their transgressions and all their sin, putting them upon the head, the rosh of Hasair, of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the Midbar, into the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities into a land not inhabited. And he shall let go the goat in the wilderness. And Aharon shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation and tent of meeting, the Ohel Moed, and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy, into the set apart place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth, and offer his olah, his burnt offering, and the burnt offering of Ha'am, the people, and make an atonement for himself and for Ha'am.
Yes. First two aliot right there. They're there for this Acharemot. A little bit more on the Acharemot after the death of the two sons of Acharon. But here we have a psalm. Today's daily psalm. Psalm 131. Humble spirit.
Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever.
We can rely on the conquering lion. Most light, you're the only one we can rely on. Hail up the conquering lion. Most light, you're the only one we can rely on. In a pretty in a jam, no.
Yes. So today's Psalm 131, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, is Likul Batalua. It just had three verses right here, right? But it's small, but very, very great. We're going to get in it right here. But first thing I want to share is just, that was the brief right there, those three verses there in the English KJV, and here the Hebrew, just momentarily.
מזמור קל"א, שיר המעלות לדוד. אדוני לא גבה ליבי, ולא רמו עיני, ולא הלכתי בגדולות ובנפלאות ממני. אם לא שיוויתי ודוממתי, נפשי כגמול עלי אמו, כגמול עלי נפשי. יחל ישראל אל אדוני, מעתה ועד עולם.
So they're there, and here the Tehillim overview, and I'm going to touch on the verse by verse right here. Shema Yisrael. Today's daily Psalm 131, 131st Psalm. Right here.
Aleph. Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph.
Yes. Shema Yisrael.
Psalm 131. Mizmor Kof for 100, Lamed for 30, and Aleph for 1. Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph. Psalm CXXXI. Psalm Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph. Psalm 131. Is themed the humble spirit. The humble spirit. The psalm is a literary gem of exquisite beauty and surpassing spirituality. Its personal character, there's a personal character to today's daily psalm that is too evident for the identification of the speaker with Amo Yisrael, with the people of Israel, but it's more of a personal character, being very evident for the identification of the speaker to be, generally speaking, Amo Yisrael, but more specifically, Lidawid, of David. Now, there's no clues, it is said, to determine the date or the circumstance of today's daily psalm's composition are provided. Now, the addition to the title, Le Dawid, of David, Le Dawid, Le David, is supported by the ancient versions of today's daily psalm. And the more conservative expositors, they find confirmation in the remark of Dawid and the remark of David that we have recorded in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21, 2 Shemuel, 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. Here in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21 we have Wayomer Dawid El Michal Lifnei Yahuwah Asher Bahar Bi Mei Avik Ua Mikola Beito Lizaota Oti Nagid Al Am Yahuwah Al Yisrael We Sichakti Lifnei Yahuwah. KJV brings us out right here from 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. And David said to Michal, it was, before the Lord, which chose me before thy father and before all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore will I play before the Lord. Here, Ivrit in the Hebrew, we have Wayomer Dawid El Michal, and David said, Why Yomer, Wayomer Dawid El Michal, Lifnei Yahuwah, before he who be Asher, the one who Bahar chose, be in me, May Avik, from your father, who chose in me, as we have KJV brings it out right here. And Dawid said to Michal, before Yahuwah who chose me, before thy father. The Hebrew sense that we have right here, Wayomer Dawid El Michal Lifnei Yahuwah. Here we have it brought out as, here from the Hebrew, bringing this out right here. Wayomer, and David said, Wayomer Dawid El Michal, to Michal. Lifnei, but he said, Lifnei, before Yahuwah Asher, the one who Bahar chose, be in me, may, from Avik, may Avik. Here he's speaking to she, and he's saying to her that before, in the face of, in the presence, the perception of Yahuwah, Lifnei Yahuwah, Asher, the one who Bahar, chose, be in me, May Abich, who chose in me before thy father, U Mikol Beito, and from all his house, U and me from call all Beito, U Mikol Beito, Litzaot. Now, right here, litzavot, to command, litzavot, to take charge, to give orders, from tzawa, some say tzava, litzavot. Here we have the root sense to constitute, to enjoin, but it's connected with to appoint, to charge, to command. The sense of to command. So here he says, U Mikol Beito Litzawot, Oti, to appoint, the sense of to command me, to appoint me, to charge I from all of his house, from your father, from all of his house, Litzawot Oti, Nagid. Here we have Nagid. What is Nagid? Nagid, the H50, 57, a Nagid. Nagid is a leader, a ruler, a captain, a prince. Nagid, a commander. Nagid. The sense is as occupying the front, the Nagid. This can be a civil, military, or religious command post, right? The sense of it is honorable, coming from the root, the H5046, Nagad. Nagad. What is Nagad? To be conspicuous, to tell, to make known. Here we have the Nagad as a verb, right? Properly to front, that is to stand boldly out, opposite. By implication, to manifest. The sense of it is to like announce, the Nagad, right? The root sense of Nagid, right? The sense of a prince, of a commander, always by word of mouth to one present. So the sense of the root word, the verb, to expose, predict, to explain, it can have even a sense to praise, but the sense of it is to tell, to make known, to tell, to announce, to declare, to make known. The root of Nagid, the Nagad, and Nagad, right, is the root Nagad. Nagid here is a leader, a ruler, a captain. So getting the fuller verse right here from 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 21. Wayomer David el Michal lifnei Yahuwah asher bachar bi mei avik. Mikol Beito, Litzavot Oti, Litzavot Oti, who commanded, appointed me, Nagid. KJV brings it out, appoint me ruler, to appoint me ruler. Litzavot Oti, Nagid. Litzavot Oti, Oti, me appointing, Litzavot Oti, Nagi, to appoint me ruler over the people. Notice what it says right here. Umikol beito, litzavot oti nagid, all Yahuwah, all upon, over, all over the all over the people, Yahuwah, over the people of Jehovah. Al-Am, Yahuwah, all over, upon all Yisrael. Umikol Beito, Litzavot Oti Nagid, all Yahuwah, all Yisrael, over the people of Yahuwah, over Yisrael, where Sechakti, Lifnei Yahuwah, Sechakti. Now, Sechakti right here, getting to the Hebrew root, Sechakti from Sachak. Sachak is to laugh. Sachak is to play. Sachak can also have a sense of to mock, to make sport, to jest, to play. But to play, Sachak, is including instrumental music, Sachak. To laugh, to play, to sing, to dance, to laugh. The root idea of Sachak is to laugh. With Sechakti. And I will laugh. I will, by implication, play. Right? Play, make merry. The sense of it is to rejoice, to laugh, to even make sport. But the direct sense that David, in communicating to Michal, right, his you could say his ex, right, wife, his first wife, daughter of Shaul, right, estranged wife right here. He says, with Sechakti, and I will play, Lifnei Yahuwah, I will play before, in the presence, in the face of Yahuwah, with Sechakti, Lifnei Yahuwah. So KJV brings this out right here as, therefore will I play, to say play musical instrument, to laugh, to rejoice, right? Therefore will I play, Lifnei Yahuwah, in the presence, in the face, in the perception. The sense right here is before he who be, who he be. So the fuller verse right here, ויאמר דוד אל מיקל לפני יהוה אשר בחר בי מאביק ומכל ביתו לצאות אותי נגיד על עם יהוה על ישראל ושיחקתי לפני יהוה. Here, full of the English. And David said to Michal, Lifnei Yahuwah, before he who be, who chose me before thy father Me'abik, and before all his house, Umikol Beito, to appoint me Litza'ot Oti, ruler Nagid, over the people of Yahuwah, all Yahuwah, over Yisrael, all Yisrael. Therefore will I play before he who be, Wesechagti lifnei Yahuwah. So what do we have here in today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph? We have these 3 verses in this little song right here. The Aleph, the Beit, and the Gimel. 3 verses. Abaga, the 3 verses. The Aleph, the Beit, and the Gimel. These 3 verses in today's daily psalm. This little psalm is inscribed Le Dawid, of David, Le Dawid, for David, Le Dawid, because it is like an echo of the answer from 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. So the connection of today's daily psalm, Psalm 131, with what we have in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. In 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21, where it reads, and David said to Michal, it was, before Yahuwah, before Jehovah, who chose me before thy father, and before all his house, to appoint me ruler, Nagid, over the people of Jehovah, over Israel. Therefore will I play before Jehovah. This is what this song, this little song inscribed of David, Le Dawid. It is like an echo of the answer right there in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. With that, Dawid, with that particular answer there in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21, David, he repelled the mocking. There was a mocking observation of Michal. Michal, some will say Michael, Michal, of Michael. When he danced before Lifnei Ha-Aaron, when he danced before the Aaron, the Tabot, the Ark, even the Ark of the Covenant, in a linen ephod. So David, he danced before Ha-Aaron, before the Ark, the Tabot, in a linen ephod, and therefore not in kingly attire. So David, here we have to picture this. This is where the narrative from Shemuel, from Samuel, particularly in 2 Samuel chapter 6, and particularly this verse in 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 21. David repelled the mocking observation of his first wife, of his estranged wife, Michal, right, when he was dancing before the ark in a linen ephod. Not in kingly attire. Therefore, it was not in kingly attire, but in the common raiment. This is the common raiment. The linen ephod was the common raiment of Ha-Kohanim, of the priests. I esteem myself still less than I now show it, and I appear base, David said, and I appear base in mine own eyes. This is what David is recorded as saying to Michal's, her mocking observation. So that's the background, the context here of today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph. This connection here of what David says in the 2 Samuel chapter 6 narrative. In the next verse, in verse 22 of 2 Samuel chapter 6, at verse 22, KJV, King James Version, reads this: "And I will yet be more vile than thus, and will be base in mine own sight, and of the maidservants whom thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor." Here bringing out the KJV, the King James of this. Another way of saying that is, I esteem myself still less than I now show it, and I appear base in mine own eyes. Nikaloti oda mizot hayiti shafala be'ainai imaha amahota shara marita imama ikaveda. Imam ikaveda. Here we have 2 Samuel 6:22, and I will yet be more vile than this, and I will be more vile. Another way of bringing this out, I am willing to shame and humiliate myself even more than this. I will be yet more vile than this. Nikaloti, from the kalal sense. Nikaloti, od, going on. Mizot, from this, more than this. Nikaloti, od, mizot, and will be base in mine own sight, and will be base, shafal, low, shafal, humble, right? We're Haiti, shafal be'ainai, in my own eyes. We're Haiti, and I becoming shafal, humble, low, the sense of being base. We're Haiti, shafal be'ainai, by way of ainai, in my own eyes, in my own perception, my own sight, and of the maidservants. And Dawid here, he says, and of the maidservants. Be'im ha-amahot, and with the amahot, ha-amahot, and with the maid, the daughters, the maidservants. Wa'im ha-amahot asher amarit, that thou hast spoken of. Asher amarit, speaking to Michal. Imam ikaveda. Of them shall I be had in honor. Imam ikaveda, and with them, Imam ikaveda, I will be honored. I will be regarded with honor, with gravity, with glory. I will be honored amongst them. So here is his further response. Nikaloti oda mizot, wehayiti shafala be'ainai, we'im ha'amahot asher amarit imam kaveda, full, and I will yet be more vile than thus, and will be base in my own sight. And of the maidservants whom thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor. I esteem myself still less than I now show it. I appear base in my own eyes. In general, David here, is the model of the state of mind that the poet here in today's Daily Psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, expresses. He did not push himself forward, but he suffered himself to be drawn forth out of seclusion. David did not push himself forward for the position, right? But he suffered. He suffered himself to be drawn forth out of seclusion. He did not take possession of the throne. David didn't take possession of the throne violently. But after Samuel has anointed him, what does David do? David, willingly and patiently, he traverses the long, the thorny, the circuitous round and round way of deep abasement or abashment until he receives from Elohim Ha'el, the Almighty Power's hand, that which Ha'el promised, gave him the yea and the amen, and had assured to him. Always faithful, always sure. Now, the persecution of David by Saul, lasted about 10 years. Did you know that? The persecution of Saul, first king of Israel, anointed, Moshiach king, and his persecution of David lasted about 10 years. And David's kingship in Hebron, at first, only incipient, was 7.5 years. See, before all of Yisrael recognized what Yahuwah and what Shemuel, what Samuel recognized, Shaul persecuted him for 10 years. David has a kingship in Hebron of Yehuda, but the other tribes, the northern tribes, Israel, the 10 tribes, they would wait 7.5 years later before they acknowledged what Yahuwah already acknowledged through Shemuel the prophet in anointing him. So David left it entirely to Yahuwah, Elohayo, his Elohim, to remove Shaul. David left it entirely to Elohim to remove Saul and Ishbosheth. He let Shimei, remember Shimei? He let Shimei curse. Shimei had cursed David. He let Shimei curse. He left Jerusalem. He left Jerusalem before Absalom. Submission to Yah's guidance, resignation to his dispensation, the times and the dispensation, contentment with that was allotted to him, are the distinguishing traits of David's noble character, that the poet here in today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, indirectly holds up to himself and to his contemporaries as a mirror. So we have a mirror here in today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, vis-a-vis to the Yisrael, the Israel of the period after the exile. Yes, to the period after the exile. That in connection with small beginnings under difficult circumstances had been taught humbly, contented, and calm waiting. What was the lesson? Humble contentment and calm waiting.
Yes. A humble psalm. Sorry if it wasn't so loud right there. But going through this humble psalm right here, King David's psalm right here, Psalm 131. We spent some time getting into the background that's connected in 2 Samuel. So let's just pick up right here from the 2 Samuel chapter 6. verse 21. 2 Samuel chapter 6. Chapter 6 in 2 Samuel, very important chapter to get the fuller context of what Michal said and David's response. Here in verse 21, as we mentioned, and David said to Michal, before Yahweh, who chose me above thy father and above all his house, to appoint me prince over the people of Yahweh, over Israel. Before Yahweh will I make merry. Will I make merry. Now here we're looking at the Hebrew, the Hebrew on one side and the English. It might differ a little bit from King James Version, but pick up right here. We have David, and David said to Michal, Wayomer David el Michal, Lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah, Asher Bachar bi, the one who chose in me, Asher Bachar bi, Abik, Ab, father, Abik, speaking to like a woman, Abik. If you're speaking to a man, it'll be like Abika. Here, Abik, from your father, Mikol Beito, and from all his house, Liz Awot, Ot, and he appointed or commanded me, Ot, Liz Awot, Ot, Nagid, to be a prince, a Nagid, Al over the people, Al Yahweh, over the people of Jehovah, Al Yisrael, over Israel, above Israel, with Sihakti, and I will sahak, I will laugh, make merry, even in a connotative sense to play instruments, but to make merry, I will laugh, to say rejoice, sport, with Sihakti, Lifnei Yahweh, before Lifnei, in the presence, before the face of Jehovah. Now let's put this into context right here as it connects with Psalm Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, Psalm 131. In chapter 6 of 2 Shemuel, 2 Samuel, we have the beginning part of the chapter, the removal of the ark from Kiryat Yearim, right? And David wanted to bring the ark to himself. Now, if you read through the chapter, we read about Uzzah. Remember Uzzah, right? Where it says, and when they came to the threshing floor, right here, Waya Bohu, Ad Goren, Nakon, of Nakon, Uzzah put forth his hand to the ark of God. Put forth his hand to the ark of God. Wayishlach Uzzah. And Uzzah sent forth, right? And Uzzah sent forth. It's interesting right here. Looking at the Hebrew right here, it doesn't say put forth his hand. It says Wayishlach. And he sent Uzzah. And Uzzah sent Illa Aaron to the ark Ha Elohim, and took hold of it. Yochez, and took hold, bow upon it, for the oxen stumbled. The oxen has stumbled. Ki shamtu, ki for shamtu, they stumbling. Ha bakar, the oxen has stumbled. And then it says in verse 7 of 2 Samuel chapter 6, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Uzzah, and Elohim smote him there for his error. And there he died by the Aaron Ha Elohim, by the ark of the true God. And David, verse 8, was displeased because Yahweh had broken forth upon Uzzah. And the place was called Peretz Uzzah, to this day. What is Peretz Uzzah? Let's understand how serious this was. Peretz, like the splitting, the breaking of Uzzah. It's almost like Uzzah was split. He was broken by that displeasure right there. Was it some energy came forward and split him? Because it says right here, David was displeased that Yahweh had broken forth, had broken out upon Uzzah, and the place was called the Perez of Uzzah, the splitting, the breaking of Uzzah to this day. Verse 9 says, and David was afraid of Yahweh that day, and he said, how shall the ark of Yahweh come to me? David was afraid. Wayerah David et Yahuwah bayom hahu, afraid of Jehovah that day. Wayomer, and he said, Ek Yabo Eli Aaron Yahuwah Ek, how Ek Yabo Ek Yabo, how to come Eli to me, to I Eli Aaron Yahuwah, how will the ark come to me? So David would not remove the ark of Yahweh to him into the city of David. We're speaking about Zion, Zion. But David carried it aside to the house of Obed Edom Haggiti, Obed Edom the Gittite. And the ark of Yahweh remained in the Beit, in the house of Obed Edom the Gittite, 3 months. And get this right here. And why Barek Yahweh et Obed Edom, where et call Beito, and Jehovah bless Obed Edom. Obed, the servant of Edom, the servant of Edom. Obed Edom blessed him and all his house, where et call Beito. Now here's where we pick up with the epicenter of the quote right here that's connected with today's daily psalm, 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 21, right here. And it was told King David, it was told. Love the part where it says it was told. We don't learn who told him, but it was told. It's like when Rebecca was told that Esau in his heart was conspiring murder against his brother. It was told to her. Remember, he said these things in his heart, and it was told to her. Here in verse 12 of 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 12, why you God? Why and you God? And it was told, why you God Lamelech David, and it was told King David, Lamor, saying, Yahweh have blessed the house of Obed Edom and all that pertaineth to him because of the ark of the Elohim. This was told to David. Why you God Lamelech David Lamor Berak Yahweh. Jehovah have blessed Barak Yahweh et Beit, the house of Obed Edom. Obed Edom, the servant of Edom, where et call Asher Lo, and all that is his, and all that pertaineth, all that belongeth to him, where et call Asher Lo, Ba'ibor, because of, due to, Ba'ibor, Aaron ha Elohim, because of the ark of Elohim. And David went. Now, when David heard that, hearing that Yahweh has blessed the house of Obed Edom and all that pertains to him because of the ark of the Elohim. David went and brought up the ark of Ha Elohim from the house of Obed Edom into the city of David, into the city of David, be Simcha. Simcha. We say Samach. Pesach Samach. Happy, right? Be Simcha. With joy, with happiness. Verse 13. And it was so that when they that bore the ark of Yahweh had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed an ox and a fatling. Now, what's interesting right here is that the first part of the narrative, we didn't go into the details there, David had a good idea to bring the ark up. He thought to bring the ark up. But what becomes clear from study is that he was doing it, that was like his best intent. But there was already something written in HaTorah of how the ark was supposed to move. He obviously was not familiar with that. But then when he hears that, well, Obed Edom is being blessed, he must have found the proper way to bring forth the ark, because as we now read this instruction, we compare with how he had done it before, we see the difference right here. They that bore the ark. On this occasion, the requirements of HaTorah were duly observed, and the ark was borne on the shoulders. You remember what happened? They were carrying the ark on like a oxen cart. But what does HaTorah say? The ark must be borne on the shoulders, right, of those men, of those priests, Kohathites, if I'm correct, the Kohathites, right? They would bear it on their shoulder. In other words, when the ark was moved in the wilderness, it wasn't that it would catch a ride, no, that it would be carried. So on this occasion now, when David brings the ark to Jerusalem and to Sion, to his castle, the palace, the seat of the Davidic government, to Zion, on this occasion, the requirements of HaTorah, the instruction, were duly observed, and the ark was borne on the shoulders. Compare this with First Chronicles chapter 15, verse 15. And it said that the ark of Yahweh had gone 6 paces. When it went 6 paces, this is not to be understood to mean that the sacrifices were offered at every 6 paces to propitiate Ha Elohim throughout the journey. The beginning of the venture was critical. How it begins. How did the thing begin? The beginning of the venture was the critical and anxious moment. And as soon as it became clear that Ha-Aaron, that the Tabot, the ark, could be moved from its resting place without divine displeasure, the sacrifice was offered as a todah, as a thanksgiving, a miskana, for the prosperous commencement, start, and as an intercession for the successful completion of the undertaking. This is important to understand where David is coming from when he says what he says to Micah, and then how this connects with today's daily psalm. Verse 14. And David danced before Yahweh with all his might. With David, Mekarker, and David Mekarker, and David, with David Mekarker, Bekal Oz, with all of his Oz, all of his Oz, Lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah, and get this in verse 14, 2 Samuel 6:14, and David was girded with a linen ephod, with David Hagor ephod Bod. So what's going on here? David danced. The Hebrew verb is found only in this passage. With David Mekarker, and David Mekarker, and David Mekarker. This word here literally means like whirled, like whirling, like spinning, right? The linen ephod, the linen ephod, ephod bad, the linen ephod. David had laid aside his royal robes and appeared in the distinctive dress of a Kohen, of a priest. You check out 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 18 for comparison there. Verse 15 says, so David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of Yahweh, of Jehovah, with shouting, yeah, and with the sound of the horn, with the sound of the shofar. With David, we called Beit Yisrael, and all the Beit of Israel. Ma'alim. Ma'alim is like causing it like to ascend, going up the mountain, causing to ascend. With David, we call Beit Yisrael Ma'alim et Aaron Yahuwah be teruah, with the shouting, teruah, bekal, and bekal, by the call, the voice of the shofar, bekal shofar, and the voice of the ram's horn. So he brought up the ark of Yahweh with shouting. There is a fine imaginative description of this right here that's being brought out. Now, Now you have to remember that we sort of bring up the ark before and what happened to Uzzah. Uzzah seemingly innocently he saw the ox and cart stumble, but then David no doubt learned from HaTorah that the ark was not supposed to be brought on an ox cart. The ark was supposed to be only brought on the shoulders, right? The shoulders of those men, namely the priests. Now we get to verse 16 and it says, and it was so as the ark of Yahweh came into the city of David that Michal, the daughter of Shaul, looked out at the window and saw King David leaping and dancing, lifting Yahweh, and she despised him in her heart. Now we have to remember that they were estranged. Like, let's recall that she also had saved him at an earlier time on their wedding night or their honeymoon night after David married the King Saul's daughter. King Saul sent hitmen to him, and she helped to save him and lower him down the window from a basket, and he ran, and he was able to escape. Now, let's remember that this time period, David on the run for about 10 or so years, right? At this particular time, Israel is joined, so add another 17 and a half years. 17 and a half years, almost 18 years right here, the estrangement. But at this particular time, when she saw this, she despised him. She despised him. Wa tevez, lo bilibaha. Wa tevez lo, she despised him in libaha, in her heart. And they brought in the ark of Yahweh and set it in its place in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings, the olot, and the shalamim lifnei Yahweh. And when David had made an end of offering the olot, the burnt offerings, the holocaust, the full burning offerings, and the shalamim, the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh Tzebaot. He blessed the people in the name of Jehovah of hosts of armies. And he dealt among all the people, even the whole multitude of Israel, both to men and to women, to everyone a cake of bread, and a cake made in a pan, and a sweet cake. So all the people departed, everyone to his house. This is how David brought it up. Now, this brings us here to Michael's contempt and David's rebuke. And David returned to bless his household, verse 20. And Michal, the daughter of Shaul, came out to meet David and said, how did the king of Israel get him honor today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovereth himself? This is what she says in verse 20. Wayashav Dawita libarek, and David returned to bless Etabeto, to bless his house. Watetei Michal, and Michal, right, coming out, Bat Shaul, the daughter of Shaul, Likraat Dawid, to meet Dawid. Watomer, and she said, Ma nikbada hayom Melech Yisrael. How did the king of Israel get him honor? Nikbad. Ma, what? Nikbad. What getting of honor? Hayom. Today, Melech Yisrael, the king of Israel. Asher, Nigla Hayom. Nigla, who uncovered himself, Nigla Hayom, today, le'ainei, in the eyes, amahot, le'ainei amahot, in the eyes of the amahot, the handmaids, avadayo, of his servants, ke, like higalot, right? Higalot, niglot, right? Like the like uncovering a chad of one of ha-rekim, rekim. You remember when Yeshua said, don't call your brother Raka, Raka? Well, she said that he uncovered himself like one of the vain fellows, one of the rekim, the empty ones. Ha rekim, one of the empty fellows, the vain fellows, shamelessly this day. And now Dawid, now his rejoinder to Mikal is this in verse 21. Why Yomer Dawid el Mikal, and he said to Mikal, Lifnei Yahuwah, before Jehovah. Remember how she couches this too. You know what I mean? How her response. He says, before he who be who he be. Right? He didn't say before you, before Israel, before this one. No. He's focused on who? Lifnei Yahuwah. Before Jehovah, Asher Bachar be, who chose in me may abik. Before more than from your father, who chose in me from your father, like more than your father, above your father. Umi called Beito, and above his house. Litz out, Litz out, Litz avot, Oti, who commanded, appointed me, Nagid, as a leader, a prince, a Nagid, al Yahuwah. Notice he says, not just the people of Israel, but the people of Yahuwah, the people of Jehovah, all Yisrael, specifying this people of Yahuwah is the people of Yisrael. With Sichakti lifnei Yahuwah, and I will make merry. I will be glad, happy. Going on, he says, and I will be yet more vile than this, more base than this, and will be base in mine own sight. And with the handmaidens whom thou hast spoken of, with them will I get me honor. Well, them I'll get me honor. Now, it's important right here just to connect the dots right here. So, Dawid, right, he came home to bless. He blessed the people. He came home to bless the members of his own house. First, he blessed the people in a good priestly fashion, right? He blessed the people. Now, here he blesses his house, but he had uncovered himself. In the excited motions of the dance, Dawid had exposed more of his body, no doubt, than may have been seemly. Therefore, she said, as one of the Rekim, one of the vain, the empty, worthless people. He responds, Lifnei Yahuwah. David replies that since he owed his advancement to Ha Elohim, the true good, the true God, no service, no aboda offered to him could be degrading. Far from accepting her rebuke as justified, he would joyfully repeat the conduct which had occasioned her reproach. At the same time, he humbles Michael's pride by reminding her of her father's rejection of his favor, both the favor of Yahweh and the favor of Dawid. Then he says, I will be yet more vile than this. I will be yet more lightly esteemed. What he's saying, lightly esteemed. When he says vile, it's like you're treating me like I'm trifle. Therefore, I will be more trifle, right? Nikaloti od mizeh, mizot. Nikaloti, I will be kalal, like trifle, worthless, like to be of light value, like not heavy, light, right? Nikaloti od, going on, mizot, more than this, more than this. I will be yet more lightly esteemed than this. Base, shalal, abase, abash. So abash me, right? I am low. I'll be more low. The answer shows that David's native humility and his recognition of the true source of his royal dignity. This is all the background and connection with today's daily song, right? And he even says, well, you speak about the daughters, right? The handmaid, Amahot, right? You know, but I will get me honor. They honor me, that we trust the good sense of the common people. It's obvious that Michal was who? She was a daughter of Shaul. She was David's first wife. Her father sent a hitman to kill him. He was on the run and slandered, right, for more than 10 years. All of Israel would not join with him until more than 17 years, right? Another 7 years to those 10 years. And then it says this, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no children to this day, had no child. Some comment, looking at the Hebrew, from that time forth, from that time forth. And that would seem to state not that she did not have any children, but from that time forward because of David's estrangement. In chapter 20, verse 3, you can get a context of such estrangement he had from even the concubines that he had after they were defiled by his son. In this case, she is defiling him, and there's an estrangement. So from that time forth, rather than divine punishment, so it wasn't so much divine punishment that they had no children from that day forward, but was because of David's estrangement. This was the cause of her childlessness. Now, it's an interesting study that really points out that she did have a child, but we'll touch on that right there. So I'm putting all this right here just in a further context to show what David was going through. What had happened to Uzzah, right, made David even afraid of Yahuwah, because he's like, why, if you've chosen me, anointed me, took me through this past 17 or more years and all of these things, then how is it when I'm seeking to do a good here, this thing happened, you know? And that joy when he found out the right way and the right procedure to bring forth the ark into Zion, Sion, and into the holy city. You know, we say, well, Jerusalem is the next step up. When you look at the position of Zion, you have to reach Zion, the castle of David, and then you keep on trotting up to where the temple was in Jerusalem, Mount Moriah. Now, this gives the background right here. I'm going to touch on this a few verses right here. Well, it's only a few verses, 3 verses right here. Give you a little dubwise, a 3-in-1 here. The English, the Hebrew, and the Royal Amharic right here. Today's daily song right here.
Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever.
I don't want to be with no wicked one. You have to humble yourself and keep Jah command.
מזמור קל"א, שיר המעלות לדוד. אדוני לא גבח ליבי ולא רמו עיניי, ולא הלכתי בגדולות ובנפלאות ממני. אם לא שיוויתי ודוממתי נפשי כגמול עלי אמו, כגמול עלי נפשי. יחל ישראל אל אדוני מעתה ועד עולם.
መዝሙር 130 በቅንፍ 131 የዳዊት ማዕረግ መዝሙር። አቤቱ ልቤ አይታበይብኝ፣ ዓይኖቼም ከፍ ከፍ አይበሉብኝ። ከትልልቆች ጋር ከኔም ይበልጥ ከሚከብሩ ጋር አልሄድኩም። ነፍሴን አሳረፍኳት፣ የእናቱንም ጡት እንዳስተውት ዝም አሰኘኋት። ነፍሴ የእናቱን ጡት እንዳስተውት በእኔ ውስጥ ናት። ከዛሬ ጀምሮ እስከ ዘላለም እስራኤል በእግዚአብሔር ይታመን።
Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, 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 and forever.
Yes, yes, yes. Today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph, Hebraically, alphanumerically here, Kof. 100 has a numerical value of 100 in the Hebrew. Kof, the letter Kof. Lamed, 30, and Aleph, 1. Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph. Here's a humble spirit. The humble spirit is themed Ashir Ha-Ma'alot Lid-Dawid. Ashir, a song, Ha-Ma'alot, of the ascents, of the going up. Some connect the Ha-Ma'alot and the ascension or songs of degrees with the pilgrimage psalms. When the pilgrimage was going on, that these psalms in the 3 times in a year, the Shalosh Regalim, these were the psalms that the pilgrims chanted on their aliyah, their ascension. Ha-Ma'alot, Ha-Ma'alot, Shir Ha-Ma'alot, song of degrees, song of ascents, song of going up, Li-Dawid, of David. Here, the Aleph, Beit, and Gimel. The Abaga, these 3 verses here, the Aleph verse. Shir Ha-Ma'alot Li-Dawid, Yahuwah lo gabah libi. Willoa Ramu Ainai, Willoa Hilakati, Bi Gedolot, Ua Bi Aniflaot, Mimeni. Here KJV brings it out as a song of degrees of David. Yahuwah, oh he who he be, my heart is not haughty. Yahuwah lo gabah, gabah, gabah libi. Lo gabah, not gabah. Here, the poet repudiates pride as being the state of his soul, of I soul. And these words sound in power right here. Psalm 131, Mizmor Kof Lamed Aleph. First verse here, Yahuwah lo gabah, lo, not gabah, gabah. What is gabah? Here, haughty, gabah, gabah, to be high, to be exalted. The sense of gabah, the verb sense, is like to soar, to be lofty. In a figurative sense, is to be haughty, right? Is to be haughty. My heart is not haughty. Lo gabah libi, repudiating pride as being the state of his soul. Furthermore, with lo and not with lo ramu, and not ramu. Here we have ramu is from the Hebrew root room. Ramu means like to be lifted up, to be exalted, to be high, to be raised up. Ramu. Here he's saying that, and not they lifted up, lo ramu, lo with lo ramu, and not they lifted up, I my eyes, and not my eyes being lifted up. So here, speaking to the pride of countenance and the bearing, the pride of countenance and bearing, when he says, neither do I exercise myself in things too great or in things too wonderful for me. Here in the Hebrew, with lo, hilakti, with lo and not hilakti. Hilakti is from halak. Halak means to walk, right? The sense of halak is like to trod. So when we have in the English, when it says right here to exercise myself, literally, lo hilakti, I have not walked about. I don't walk about. Halaka. Lo hilakti, I have not walked about. I don't exercise myself. Neither do I walk about. Do I trot about? Be gedolot. In gedolot. Gadol is big. Gedolot is like big beaks. like big up, or big beaks in that which is big, that which is big up. Like I don't walk about bigging myself up. Another way we would say even today, Willo hilakati be gedolot, or in things to high. KJV says to high for I, or to high for me. U be niflaot, uva niflaot, u and be in niflaot, niflaot, wonderfulnesses, wonderfulnesses, me mani, me mani, me mani, me mani has a sense of from me mani, that which is pala, fala, that which is wonderful, marvelous, surpassing, that which is like that which separates or distinguishes, right? But the niflaot often is like the wonderful acts, the niflaot of Yahuwah, in a wonderfulness, that which is too wonderful, me mani. Not for me in the Hebrew, it's actually me mani, from me. So that which is not too wonderful for me, like above my pay grade, we might even say today. So here we have the opening verse right here, right? He speaks about the pride of countenance and bearing, willo hilakti, and I don't trot about, I don't walk about for pride of endeavor or mode of action. Pride has its seat in the heart. In the eyes, especially, pride finds its expression. And great things are its sphere, its cipher, in that it diligently exercises itself. So when the opposite of great things is not to say little, we might think that great things, gedolot, is to say little, or to say that which is small, right? Right? That which is not little, but that which is small. See, there's a fine nuance right there. The opposite of things too wonderful for me is not that which is trivial, but that which is attainable, right? Things too wonderful for me, beyond my attainment. Now, there's some interesting verses in the scripts. For example, we have this right here in Genesis 18 and 14. Genesis 18 and 14. Is anything too hard for Yahweh, for Jehovah? At the time appointed, I'll return to thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Hiyapale. See, pale is a root of niflaot or niflaot. Pale. Hiyapale. What is hiyapale? That which is more wonderful, marvelous. Same root as wonderful for me. Hayipale me Yahuwah. That which is wonderful from Yahuwah, from Jehovah, Dabar, right? La Moed, right? Is it like a word that is unattainable for Yahuwah to fulfill? La Moed Ashub, La Moed, at the Moed. Remember, Moedim is the feast appointments. The festivals are called Moedim. Moed is like the time appointed, the appointed time. La Moed, at the appointed time. Ashub, he says Ashub, I will return. Ashub, Eleka, to the eye. Lecha, Ashuv lecha, I'll return to the eye. Ka'ait, at the time. Chaya, ka'aita chaya, at the time of life. U le Sarah, and of Sarah bane, and of Sarah a son, and of Sarah a child. This is just one example when we compare, well, what does it mean by great things, right? Not that which is little, but that which is small. What's the opposite of things too wonderful? Not that which is trivial, but that which is not attainable, the sense of unattainable. When he says his eyes, right, his eyes are not lofty, right? His eyes are not lofty. He clearly says that his eyes, nor mine eyes, lofty. Willo ramu ainai. We have the same sense here in Psalm 18, round about the verse 28 in the Hebrew, might be a verse over in the English because of the numbering difference. But here from the Hebrew says, "For thou dost save the afflicted people, but the haughty eyes thou dost humble. For thou dost save, ki ata ani, ki ata, for the I, male, speaking directly to he who he be, for you, for the I, ki ata, for the I, ani, the people, ani, ani, the humble people, Toshia, Toshia, Toshia. You Yeshua them, Toshia. You save them. With Ainaim, right? Ainaim, the afflicted people, right? The afflicted Oni, I said humbled. The afflicted people, the Oni, you Toshia, you save. With Ainaim, Ramot. See that word? Ramot, and the eyes of lifted upness, the lifted up eyes, with Ainaim, Ramot, Tashpil, Tashpil, Tashpil. You does bring them down, cause them to fall. So the eyes are lift up, you cause them to fall. The afflicted people, right? The afflicted people you save. Also, we have in Psalm 101, verse 5. Let's go to Psalm 101, verse 5, just a context of where else Dawid speaks in these ways or similar ways. Psalm 101, verse 5. Here we go, right here. It says, Whoso slandereth his neighbor in secret, him will I destroy. Whoso is haughty of eye and proud of heart, him will I not suffer. Him will I not suffer. Miloshnia basetir re'ehu, his neighbor, his companion. Oto atzmit. Oto, him atzmit. Him I will atzmit. Him I will destroy. Oto, him atzmit. I will destroy. Whoso is haughty of eye. Gebah. Remember the Gebah? Gebah, where Dawid says in today's Psalm 131, he says right here, Yahuwah, lo, gavah libi. My heart is not gavah, is not like to say lifted up. Here it says, who is haughty of eye and proud of heart, him will I not suffer. Gebah ainayim, gebah, haughty of eyes, gebah ainayim, or chab, lebab, or chab, rechab lebab, and has a rechab, a proud lebab heart, alto, him, alto, lo ukal, alto lo ukal, him, lo not ukal. I can't. He's, when we say today, you hear people say today, like, I just can't. Like, I just can't. There's expression people be saying today, like, I just can't. With you, I just can't. I just can't. It actually literally in the Hebrew, what is being said here, auto, him, lo ukal. Him, I just can't. I just can't. Lo, not ukal. To be able to. Ukal, I will be able. Lo, not be able. I just can't. And with him, whoso is haughty of eye and proud of heart, Yahweh is saying, him, I just can't. I can't with him. But the translative sense of that is like, him will I not suffer. It's an interesting context there. Neither do I exercise, remember, walk about in things too great or in things too wonderful, trot about. He and I and we here in today's daily psalm should be content to follow the humble course of life and liberty, not aspiring to high office in the community. If a high office comes, so be it. Give thanks to Yahuwah, Baruch Hashem, but not aspiring to high office in the community to exercise, walk about in a big up, or in things too wonderful, right? Here, Dawid's psalm. The psalm is Dawid. And if we see the psalm according to superscription, Lid Dawid of David, it must have been written in an early part of his life and liberty, when some say when he was a shepherd, right? Or perhaps, when he came more fully into that kingship. Exercise myself, once again, is literally walkabout. And walkabout, hilakti, where he says, Willo hilakti, I do not walk about, be a gadolot, in big ups, in big bigs, in that which is big, in the plural sense, in bigging myself. I don't concern myself with bigging up myself. Willo hilakti, be gadolot. Verse 2 right here. Surely, right here, let's go to verse 2 right here. Today's daily psalm, English first, the KJV. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Here in the Hebrew, im lo. Im lo sometimes has a sense of if not, right? If not to get into the linguistics of it, but for ones to learn this, im lo does not open a conditional protasis. For where is the indication of the apodosis? It's this way of expressing. How can we bring this out right here? A good way to bring this out is like, for example, if any wish to depart, I can keep my eyes shut. In other words, if any wish to depart, that's the protasis, and then the apodosis is I can keep my eyes shut. Another sense is if he is in exile, what more do you ask? So a complete conditional sentence consists of two clauses, the protasis, and the apodosis. The clause containing the condition, if, lo, not. The clause containing the condition is called the protasis or protasis. The clause containing the conclusion is the apodosis. Now, why do I say this here? Because there's a Hebrew expression that in some cases it means like if not. But here it doesn't take on this kind of meaning. This passage here brings out the formula in Hebrew likened to an oath. Verily, truly, I have. Im lo shawiti. Surely I have stilled. Verily, for real, im lo. Not if not, I have stilled myself, but it has a sense of surely I have stilled, right? I have composed. I have behaved. Here we have shawiti from shawa. Shawa in Hebrew, or modern Hebrew, they may say shava. Shawa. It means to agree with, to be or become like, to resemble or to level. It has a sense shawa in shawiti. So what is Dawid saying? Im lo shawiti. Surely I have stilled. I have behaved. Surely I have equalized. I have leveled. By implication is to adjust. Surely I have counterbalanced, right? Like compose myself to become suitable, yielded myself. Surely I have stilled and quieted my soul. Im lo shawiti. I have leveled vibes, right? I've equalized, I've adjusted. Im lo shawiti. Where domamti nafshi. And domamti, dom means to silence. Nafshi, I've silenced the seat of my emotions, my affections, my feelings, my emotion, my affections, the soul, the psyche. I have quieted my psyche, putting it into modern psychological terms. The nafshi, the nefesh, is the soul in terms of the psyche, the seat of the emotional, affectional sense of self. That sense of self, like you want to do something and then something bothers you where you don't feel like doing it. Your soul has been hit. Im lo shawiti. Surely I have equalized, balanced, level vibes. with domamti, and I have quieted. In that sense, I have hushed from damam. Damam in the Hebrew and domamti. Domamti is saying, I have done this. Domamti. The root word is damam, right? Which means he had done this, to be silent, to be still. The sense can mean to wait, to be dumb, not speaking. Sometimes we have to quiet our soul, tell our soul to trust in Yahuwah. Im lo shuiti with domamti nafshi. I have stilled and quieted my soul like a weaned child with its mother. Kagamula ale imo. Kagamul ale imo. Imo. Im, mother, aim, ima, imo, his mother. My soul, my psyche, the seat of my affections, my thoughts, my emotion, my sense of self. My soul is with me like a weaned child. Ka gamul, as a gamul, alai nafshi. My soul, my psyche, my psyche. Just to bring this out right here, weaned child. Gamal. Gamal in Hebrew means to fully, to deal with fully. Gamal is like to wean a child. Gamal has a sense to ripen, like to bear ripe almonds, like Aaron's rod to bear ripe almonds when it budded. The same sense of gamal is to wean a child, right? Gamal in the Hebrew sense can mean like to treat a person, how you treat somebody, whether you treat them well or ill, right? Whether you benefit someone or you requite them, right? By implication, it has a sense of to toil, but the sense of toiling is like to ripen. Specifically here in today's daily psalm, it has the sense of to wean, to wean. At what point is a child supposed to be weaned, Chabarim? See, this is an interesting question right here. Some mothers might stop breastfeeding. They can might be able to still have milk and everything, might stop it arbitrarily. But in the original sense is when the child started to teeth, when the teeth started to come in for obvious reasons. This means that the child now could chew its own food, could masticate its food to get protein from it, right? So this sense here needs to be understood of what David is saying right here in today's daily psalm. Stilled and quieted, equalized and hushed my soul, nafshi. The soul here also has a sense of one's desire from what one feel, and that emotion, the seat of your feelings and emotion also links with your desire, right? Of that, the organ, according to the Hebrews, right, was the seat. So the connection of the soul to the heart and the soul to the feelings, the emotion, to the psyche, as we would call today, but also to the desire. And this is the seat of that. The soul was the seat of those emotions to the Hebrews and in the Hebrew consciousness. So the poet here, Lid Dawid, avows that ambitious thoughts, right, that ambitious thoughts had entered his mind. That yes, ambitious thoughts, of course, had entered his mind. He's a man, true. But here's the exception. He had, however, on the other hand, he had damped down. He had damped down their fire. See the part where it says behaved himself is really a key word in the Hebrew, right? Behaved himself, the shawa in shawiti, which means to equalize. It's like a sound system when you equalize the sound, right? He had damped down the fire so that he can enjoy that inner serenity and contentment. See, our equalizing our soul, right? Our quieting our soul is not something that is in Yahweh's hands. Like when Yeshua Robenu said, let not your heart be troubled. Let not your heart be troubled. We can ask him, oh Lord, don't let my heart be troubled, but that's in our responsibility. That's in our ability to do. Dawid gives us this context here. Im lo shuiti with domamti nafshi. I have equalize, right? Almost as to say, like, if I had not equalized and quieted my soul, my psyche, right, I would not be like a weaned child of his mother, and my soul would not be as a weaned child, calm and content, like a weaned child. This is a remarkable piece of imagery right here. There's an interesting, remarkable piece of imagery right here, because that shawa sense is like to level the surface of a field. How do you level the surface of a field? By plowing it up. So there's an ethical sense of this as well that's applied. He has leveled or made smooth his soul, his psyche, so that humility is its entire and uniform state, almost like kneading dough, so to speak. He has calmed it so that it is silent and at rest, and allows Ha'el, Hayel, the Almighty, Hailahim, the Elohim, to speak and work in it and for it, work in her and for her. It is like an even surface, like the calm surface of a lake, as a weaned child on its mother, as a weaned child, Kagamul alei imo, alei, upon its mother, is the Hebrew sense. So is nafshi, my soul, being weaned, it lay on me. This is one way that some bring this out, but the main connection is like one weaned besides its mother and by its mother. Remember that from a Hebrew perspective, Ha-Torah, the Torah, is likened to our mother and wisdom also. Yeshua says that wisdom is justified by all of her children. We know that wisdom was there in the beginning because we know what Bereshith mean, because Chokmah, wisdom, is the Reshith. So like a weaned child, Torah, it says in Proverbs 1 and 8, my son, my disciple, hear the instruction of thy father, right? Forsake not the law of thy mother. Torah, even in Hebrew, has a feminine sense. So it's that Torah and the words of instruction that help to wean the child that is our soul, right? The child that is our soul. So right here, there's more that we can go into this right here, but there's an interesting psychological connection, even in relation, right? Like a weaned child is his soul upon him in relation to his ego, in relation to his sense of ani, of I, of anoki, right? Which is conceived of in the ale, upon, as having the soul upon itself. His soul, that is by nature, the soul by nature is restless, is craving. But here, shawiti, it is shawa, it is stilled, it is equalized, it's leveled. It does not long after earthly enjoyment and earthly good that Elohim should give these to it, but rather it is satisfied, becoming satisfied with that fellowship of the Elohim, of Yahweh Eloheinu. It finds the soul, she finds, and may our soul, may she find full satisfaction in him, and being satisfied or satiated in him. So we have a remarkable piece of imagery. An infant in its mother's arms instinctively yearns for her milk, that milk of Ha-Torah. Don't be ashamed of the milk of Ha-Torah. Sometimes you say, well, they just on the milk. You're on the milk. You're on the milk of the word. Oh, yeah. But milk is good, right? Milk is necessary, right, for that weaning process. Don't let nobody speed up your weaning process or retard or slow down. The milk of the word is good, as this psalm even points out. An infant in its mother's arm instinctively yearns for her milk. But after being weaned now, it still finds happy security when held by her. Although that earlier longing, you ever see a baby when it needs the teat and it's used to the teat? But now after the teeth have come in and it begins to be able to masticate its own food, it still enjoys being within the arms of its mother, but that longing, the earlier longing has started to equalize, level off. Such is the psalmist and I condition, according to today's daily psalm, after weaning I self, after weaning himself from the desire for prominence and for preeminence. Here, coming to the final verse right here, the Aleph bait, that was the bait, the second verse. Here's the Gimel, the Abaga, here's the Gimel verse, right here. Yachel Yisrael Il Yahuwah May Ata We'ad Olam. Oh, Yisrael, hope in Yahweh, in Jehovah, from this time, May Ata, and forth and forever. We're odd and going on olam and going on forever, or Hebraically, we're odd olam and going on to time indefinite. Here. May his people follow his example. Basically, this example right here, these two verses, the two first verses. Here in the third verse, he sums up the intent. May his people, may I people, may Amo Yisrael follow his example, not longing for so-called eminence or preeminence or even the imperial eminence or power, but waiting continually and submissively for Yahweh Eloheinu, for he who be who he be, I almighty power and spirit and in truth, Bashem Yeshua, to guide their and I destiny. This phrase here, O Israel, hope in Yahweh. This is repeated from Psalm 130, verse 7. In the previous psalm, right, verse 7, O Israel, hope in Yahweh, for with Yahweh there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. Yachel Yisrael el Yahweh, ki im Yahweh ha chesed. With Yahweh is chesed, is the mercy, is the loving kindness. With harbe, and nuf, emo, with him, fidut, enough redemption, enough fidut with him. So we have this repeat right here in the previous psalm, in the hope. But what kind of hope is this here? The word yachal in yachel Yisrael, come from the root yachal, is to wait, to hope, to expect. Wait, to hope, to expect. This is an interesting word right here, to be patient, right? To be patient. Sometime in translation, it's translated as to cause, to have hope, to be pain, to stay, to tarry, to trust. Yachel. It's an interesting word right here, but hope, right? Hope. Expect, right? Expect. Do what you got to do, but that word of your tefillah, of your prayer, still expect it. Like Yeshua Hanotzri said, that when you pray, and you ask for a thing, you have the expectation that you received it. Though you don't see it, you still expect it. Therefore, you get to draw it. If it is good and it's favorable, then Yah will provide it in due time and due season. Yachel Yisrael Il Yahuwah. May Ata, from now, we'ad, going forward, olam, to time indefinite. So this closing part of the psalm, the individual language of the psalm, comes to have a reference to the congregation at large. Although at first there's a personal character that's in this psalm, right? A person is speaking individually in the indivisible dual. And some say the individual is speaking and not Israel. But we see in this third verse the application of the indivisible dual, the individual experience now applicable to Yisrael. The individual language of the Mizmor, Psalm 131, it comes to have a reference to the congregation at large. Yisrael, Israel, Beit Yisrael, the Beta Israel, I, is to renounce all self-boasting. You know, when we say big up yourself, from the context here, it'd be like, no, I pass on that. I pass on that, as Dawid says right there. I pass on bigging up myself. Yisrael is to renounce all self-boasting and all self-activity, and to wait in that humbleness, the humble spirit, today's daily psalm, and to wait in that quietness. The quietness is not having one's soul, how can you say, go crazy, basically. You know what I mean? Sometimes when something's on your feeling, your emotion, and you just can't stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? That can become like hell. You know what I mean? Instruct your soul in the words of Ha Torah, right? And therefore depend, have faith upon Elohim from now and forevermore, forevermore. For he resisteth, that word, he resisteth the proud, the haughty, but giveth grace to the humble. So, as the roots man said, don't you grumble. Here, give thanks, Chabarim. Right here, today's daily psalm, Psalm 131, the humble spirit, the humble irit. May I and I humble ourselves, and may Yahweh Eloheinu B'Shem Yeshua, may he lift us up. Oh.
Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever.
I don't want to be with no wicked one. To humble yourself, you'll have to humble yourself and keep Jah.
מזמור קל"א, שיר המעלות לדוד. אדוני לא גבה ליבי ולא רמו עיניי, ולא הילכתי בגדולות ובנפלאות ממני. אם לא שיוויתי ודוממתי נפשי כגמול עלי אמו, כגמול עלי נפשי. יחל ישראל אל אדוני מעתה ועד עולם.
መዝሙር 130 በቅንፍ 131 የዳዊት ማዕረግ መዝሙር። አቤቱ ልቤ አይታበይብኝ፣ ዓይኖቼም ከፍ ከፍ አይበሉብኝ። ከትልልቆች ጋር ከኔም ይበልጥ ከሚከብሩ ጋር አልሄድኩም። ነፍሴን አሳረፍኳት፣ የእናቱንም ጡት እንዳስተውት ዝም አሰኘኋት። ነፍሴ የእናቱን ጡት እንዳስተውት በእኔ ውስጥ ናት። ከዛሬ ጀምሮ እስከ ዘላለም እስራኤል በእግዚአብሔር ይታመን።
Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever and forever.
Yes, 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 Chabarim, Talmudim, brothers and sisters and brothers. Expect in he who he be, the Almighty. Yes, from this hour forth and forever. Laila Tov, good night, Boker Tov, Tzaraim, Tobim, good afternoon. Be well, brothers and sisters. Join I and I as we move forward in this Torah reading and feeding right here, the 29th, Axariimot. Yes, after the death, comes what the resurrection. Rise up, rise up. Have a blessed rest and a blessed rise. Yes, I, Rastafari. B'Shem Yeshua. Yes, I. K'dama Halaslassi Mesken. Shalom.
Most light, you're the only one we